Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the September regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. We'll start with the roll call.
Mr. D'Amelio.
Present.
Mrs. Hall.
Present.
Mr. Siegel.
Here.
Mr. Hone.
Here.
Mr. McGarity.
Here.
Mr. Connell.
Here.
Mr. Wexler.
Here.
Mr. Heilman. He's in the back. In the back. And Mr. Oliva.
Here. All right, let's have our opening prayer by our Township Manager, Larry Gentile.
Bow our heads. Lord God, bless tonight's meeting and grant all the public officials with the wisdom to discuss the major issues facing them this evening with a peaceful spirit, and enlighten all of us by discerning what is best for the residents residing within Haverford Township. Amen.
Amen.
Chief?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Everybody's interested. We're going to do a proclamation to Hilltop baseball team, 11-year-olds.
All right.
Commissioner Wexler.
Good evening. It's with great pleasure that we acknowledge the accomplishments of the Hilltop baseball 11-year-old team this year, who won the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Hilltop this year had, I think, over 1,000 children participating in the league. And one of the great accomplishments of Hilltop is the Challenger Division, which lets kids with special needs play. It's a great organization. It's unique in this area to some degree because the amount of children that we have there, the amount of interaction that these guys have with those children, and the encouragement that our coaches and volunteers give to them. It's a pleasure to be associated with the neighborhood and to see that happening in our neighborhood every year, and to see the growth of it from a couple of years ago. I get the pleasure of doing the opening ceremony, and it's gone from 450 to 500 to 600 to 2 years it was over 700. Last year was 900, and now this year well over 1,000. And all the divisions are growing, and then the success. So not only the accomplishments of these young men, especially this year with the great publicity of the Little League World Series out in Williamsport this year, but also just the enthusiasm that you have, and then also the dedication of your volunteers, your parents that drive you to there, your moms and dads that man the snack shop, the people that line the fields every day, and your coaches who teach, instruct you, and give you that advice that not only teaches you to be a better ball player, but also to be a better person. So I thank those volunteers, your mothers, your fathers, your aunts, your uncles, the older brothers that help you with your skills, but also teach you how to become better young men and women as part of the growing process of playing baseball. Just like you saw the kids handle the publicity this year with the television and out in Williamsport, how that group of dynamic young kids from both Chicago and our area of Philadelphia handled the publicity as well as their on-the-field activity with great aplomb and just professionalism that they acted just the way you guys do on the field and off the field. So it's my pleasure that the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Haverford, County of Delaware, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, takes great pleasure in acknowledging the accomplishments of local youth sports teams. And whereas the Board of Commissioners wish to congratulate the Hilltop baseball team 11-year-olds for the recent accomplishment, and whereas the following manager, coaches, and players have proven the value of hard work, determination, and sportsmanship by becoming the 2014 Cal Ripken Middle-Atlantic Regional Champions, securing the second ever regional championship by a Hilltop team by beating Maryland State champs Charles County 5-2.
Wow.
Right. Manager is Bud Wright. I'll ask him to come up as we call the coaches and manager's name. Coach is Chris Dempsey. The coaches here, John and Chris. Great job, and thank you for your time, dedication. It's a pleasure to see you guys leading our youth throughout the township. And now the important guys, the players. Trey Albanese, Will. Jake Connies. Dempsey, Ryan McCarthy, Jimmy White. September 2014, Haverford Township Board of Commissioners. Gentlemen, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Each one of these, you get one of these.
Well, if you want to come up and take a picture,
Yeah, we'll go up, we'll stand in the
come
front.
up and take a picture, come up. You can come up.
We get
And line up in the front of the podium.
Yeah. Why don't we get them in front here? You can.
Jim down to the
Some
podium.
of the parents want to take pictures here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
We'll get you guys in front.
Discussing this here. When we're voting on it later. Shouldn't we just be discussing it when we vote on it? I don't mind that. Unless it's... That's Mary. I thought we were going right into it.
Get easy. There.
No, I think we are. I don't see any vote on it.
You guys.
Mayor? Mario?
Yes.
Do we have a vote scheduled? It just says feasibility discussion. I don't see a vote anyplace.
Yeah, we're gonna vote on it right here when we have the discussion. Okay. We have a few seats up in the front here.
See right here.
Oh, okay, there it is. Okay. I got it. Never mind. There's it.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Got a couple over here.
Proposing the bill.
Yeah, there's two more over here. The front over here. All right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Everybody in. All right. What a great job those kids did. So now we're going to start the, going to give the township auditor update. Or Gary Schlotnick, our auditor.
Good evening. I reviewed the expenditures for the period beginning August 12th and ending September 8th. I raised certain questions. All the questions were answered to my satisfaction. So in my opinion, there were no irregularities for the period in question.
Thank you, Gary. Now we're going to have a citizens forum. We'll have 20 minutes registered speaker, and then we'll go through the audience on agenda items. First, we're going to have Chad Brooks.
Thank you. I know you'll have a long night tonight, and I will try and be brief. I'm here for Haverford Township Day. Tim was kind enough to give me a poster. It's the 20th anniversary. So as the country song says, don't blink. It goes so quickly. But it is the 20th anniversary, and a lot of people don't know this, but Haverford Township Day always has a theme. And the theme this year is Blazing New Trails. And I kind of want to address my remarks to that. This year the theme is Blazing New Trails, and I think we're all pleased by the many good things happening in Haverford. To mention just a few, the Y being the best of Philadelphia Magazine, the amazing restaurant scene, the tremendous success of the Community Recreation and Environmental Center, and tonight, of course, the careful consideration on how to move forward on new township facilities. All these things have in common that they make Haverford a great place for families and promoting a healthy lifestyle. Even though on Haverford Township Day, a big part of it is see how much you can eat and see how many different kinds of foods you can eat, but still a healthy lifestyle. As you know, a favorite exercise, especially if you're up early in the morning, for residents is running. Hundreds of Haverford runners participate in local races. The beauty of the bus trip to Broad Street has become legendary, but it wasn't always that way. 16 years ago, there weren't any 5K races in Haverford. Today, there are more than half a dozen. They include the reindeer romp that caps at 600 runners and always sells out, the Kevin K. Memorial, a quintessential neighborhood race, the Twilight Run on Darby Road, and this summer, the wonderful series of trail runs. If you like trail running, they did a wonderful series at the creek. But Haverford Township Day 5K was the first. Jimmy Sims organized the first race in 1998 and chose Murray Place so that we could run for all those that can't. And Murray Place is one of the, I'll address it a little bit later, but it's one of those special places. It's alluded to helping children with special needs. That was one of the first, to give them a place to go to, that they could experience it in a way that was special for them. For 14 years, the run has been out and back on Mill and Caricon. And this week, we are remembering the horrific events of September 11th, 2001. And I remember the discussions whether or not we were going to hold Haverford Township Day that year and whether it was appropriate. And we made the decision that we would defy the terrorists and go ahead and hold that day because it was important to hold on to our community events. And that year, there was a wonderful shirt, one of my favorites, although there's been many great shirts, but one of my favorites. This was the shirt in 2001, and you can see the flag, and the runners are the stars, and the runners are running off the flag. And it was a great event that year, and I wore this shirt a month later in New York in the New York Marathon. And I can tell you that we made the right decision. The comments I received on the course and then in Central Park, tremendous. So running is more than running. Running is just a thing that involves the community completely. This year, the 20th Haverford Day, we wanted to blaze new trails. So we have devised a course that utilizes the new Penzie Trail. This is the old railway bed that once was used to deliver sugar to the chewing gum factory. It runs between Veterans Field and the Y. It's a hidden gem, and we hope by highlighting it through the race, we can introduce this jewel to all the residents of Haverford. The new course is flat and fast and will delight runners and walkers. And the event is very walker-friendly. You don't have to be a runner to participate. If you decide you don't want to do the whole 3 miles, you can do part of the trail and then walk back. Because this year, we're going to finish in front of the grandstand at Brookline. So the runners will finish right in the middle of all the action. It's going to be a tremendous event. And the course does have a few turns. We could use plenty of volunteer marshals. And I thought it would be particularly appropriate if residents get involved, the residents back in that triangle. Come out with their morning coffee, watch the action, cheer the runners, point them in the right direction. It would be great if the community participate. I know the commissioners participate in the parade, and they probably won't be doing the 5K, but encourage your friends and families to run or walk to sign up and blaze new trails on September 27th. And come out and enjoy the day with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Andrew Heller? I just want, no, you can come up. Go ahead. You're Andrew Heller, right? Yes. Okay, come on. Right. I just want to remind everyone to keep it to 3 minutes. We're going to have a long agenda tonight. We have a lot to discuss, so please keep it to 3 minutes. We also had I wanted to report that we had an executive session prior to the meeting to discuss a legal and real estate issue. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. Andrew Heller, 1604 Ridgeway Road. I need to say that this time. But I wanted to let the Commissioners know and people responsible at the township that it's just been a great pleasure living here. And I can say that for a lot of reasons. And one of them does happen to be the library. We use it frequently. I agree that it is rather small. However, having a young daughter growing up here, I feel that I live in a very safe community. My brother's a police officer in Montgomery County and speaks very highly of the township here, how safe it is, what a wonderful place it is to live in. And I'd just like to take it this moment to just put on the table, I ask for your consideration in being cautious and as being careful as we can when the vote comes up for the number of options that are available for rehabbing a library, replacing a library, upgrading a police station, and so on. I think those are all important matters, and there's been a lot of debate over the summer about what we could do, what would be most affordable, what would be best for the township. It certainly hasn't been easy. I do know that Mr. Bogosian did a study that talked about something that would be a little bit on the conservative side, which would entail building a new police station and going into the rehabbing of the library. That's something I think is option 3 or option 3B that I asked you might want to think about when you go over the myriad of options I know that you all have to look over when this comes up. There have been traffic issue arguments concerning the new location for the library. At the same time, I do see that it is a small and it is a tight space. However, it has been useful. We have used it, and I know that through the interlibrary loan system, when my daughter has homework to do, we've actually been able to walk there safely at any hour of the day, thanks to our police force. And not only that, the homework gets done, I go down and I borrow a CD and bring it right back. It's, I think we have a lot going for us, and I'm just pleading with you to consider at this time perhaps a more conservative measure of maybe Plan 3 or 3B or something that will allow funds for other possibilities, whatever they may be, if they do come up. Thank you.
All right. Dave Schwartz. Dave in the audience? I don't see him. I don't see Dave. Okay. Terry Lynn and Lizzie.
You don't mind if I take this out? The other side can't hear me if I don't speak correctly into it. So I'm just going to take it out now before I start. Terry Lynn and Lizzie, 236 Washington Avenue. Good evening. I just want to go back to March 10th meeting just for a moment when Commissioner Siegel, who is the chairman of the property committee, when he stated that the 3-story building, the police administration, municipal service, and library building was going to be $18 million. On June 2nd, Mr. Pannoni presented 7 options to the resident of the township. Out of those 7 options, only one comes close to the $18 million figure, and that is option 3. And that is the new police station and the renovating of the administration and the library buildings at the present locations. On March 10th, Commissioner Siegel stated that the last thing I want to see any of the project that the property committee is involved with be a cost overrun. He also stated, I have made it quite clear that every project, including this one, has a cost, and if the cost becomes excessive, I wouldn't support it, any more than I would support any other expenditure in this township because we do have to deal with that. 5 of the 7 new design options range from $23 to $30 million. These figures far surpass the original $18 million projected cost. On June 2nd, as I stated, Mr. Pannoni discussed in length concerns for the proposed site. At July 7th's work session, he talked for 35 minutes on the traffic concerns of building anything on that parcel of land at Manoa and Darby Road, on how much it is going to affect and impede the traffic on that corner. We are going to pay to elongate left turning lanes to just literally stop the flow of traffic. It is going to affect, if a police station is there, how they are going to merge out into traffic. At the highest point of the day, rush hour, an emergency comes, how are they going to get into any part of Manoa Road or to Darby Road? Then they're going to have to speed around. It just is crazy to continue a conversation about putting a building on a parcel of land where it is absolutely going to be a traffic nightmare for every resident of this township, not just the local residents of Manoa and Brookline and Lanark area. It's going to impede everybody. It's going to be a traffic nightmare just like the Y. Why are we pretending to continue to even consider putting a building on there other than the police station? The police station is archaic. It needs to be renewed. You have 4 K-9 units that we profess how wonderful they are. They have better working conditions than the men and the women on our police force. This is a no-brainer. Don't put anything else on the corner of Manoa and Darby Road other than a police station. Other than that, you're going to impede. You're going to have more automobile accidents. You're going to have kids being hit by cars, your senior citizens, anybody walking at any time of day. With that being said, I actually want to touch on something real fast, and I know I'm running out of time, but I'd like to know why we pushed out the Lanark and Manoa Fire Company ambulance services. This is something that literally has been an institution in this township for 60 years, and it has been worked on closed doors. It has been worked on for months. We're fact-finding. We have decided to hire the University of Pennsylvania over Crozer Keystone or Narberth. Why the University of Penn? 3 of the people who made this decision literally work for the University of Penn. All the men and women who have been part of our EMS staff, who literally have committed time and energy, have to be rehired through the University of Pennsylvania. You are now going to be balance billed for any emergency services you have, because literally when you join Manoa Fire Company or Lanark Fire Company, they never balance billed you. The University of Penn is going to balance bill you. Why, as residents of the township, were you not informed that the safety of your families is literally going to be taken control over? They're saving $440,000. They've spent $10 million this summer alone in ordinances. $440,000 broken down by 49,000 residents is 8 cents. Tell them to keep their bill. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Egan?
My name is Joe Egan, and I own the Stadium Cafe. In my 1 year of business at this site, the #1 issue I have noticed is a lack of adequate parking. When I reviewed the 7 architectural drawing schemes for the new police station, I noticed that some of these schemes included additional parking and some did not. I request that any new construction at this site should maximize the parking available. I also request that the parking be added sooner than later. When construction begins on this project, the parking issues will go from bad to worse. If parking spaces are added before construction begins, it can help alleviate this problem. Thank you.
Dr. Levin.
Good evening, commissioners and residents. I want to talk to you about the proposal for the municipal building, police station, and library at the corner of Darby and Paoli Road. My background is I live at 414 Mill Road and have been there for 25 years with my wife and 2 friendly animals. My background is I am an environmental scientist and engineer and a planner with over 10 years of experience in city, urban planning, and regional planning. This site is a Lulu. It's a locally unwanted land use. It's a building site at Darby and Manoa Road. The site buildings are strictly conceptual. There's no reality whatsoever. The site has not been tested. No written proposal for the required environmental engineering studies has been made. It's all verbal. No architectural renderings of the building. No construction management scheduling. No paperwork or documentation of the work plan has been presented. And there's been no funding of exploratory work proposed. You have not told us how much you have spent on the initial work. The buildable site is too small. It's been agreed upon that by 3 professionals. It is unsuitable. It is unwieldy and would require excessive cash delays. So why is it taking place? Because the first thing you're taught in this area is to, if you are a planner or a consultant, is to take on the work regardless of what it is. Road traffic is unplanned and would produce unregulated traffic congestion and, as previously stated, a nightmare. Underground parking would be ill-advised because of site conditions. What are the site conditions? They're the site conditions that a number of us face, a majority of us face in Havertown, and that is soils which do not allow construction building to remain stable. They settle. Now, settle is evidenced by cracking, by intrusion of water, and a proliferation of people who come through and do basement waterproofing, which is not waterproofing at all. Site development, utilities, work, and roads would produce out-of-budget costs. Construction materials and supplies would be stockpiled around the site on building area and on ball fields. Site would be fenced, secured. Construction workers would have a parking lot in that area. Where else are they going to go? There's no parking in the area. And traffic would be regulated for years. The site would be unusable by others. Parking and traffic movement on and off the site would involve traffic issues. It dead ends into Westchester Pike at one end, into Darby Road on the other, and extends further on Manoa Road. I need to finish this.
1 second. 1 second. Would you like your 3 minutes for?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you an additional 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. The road, Manoa Road, is likely to be opened to Lankenau Hospital at some time in the future. The commissioner's questioning of consultant citizens and others were tangential to the core issues. The responses were not authoritative, nor were they listed as such. There was no tabulation of meeting results. They're under related site issues. A referendum was ruled out of hand by the junior solicitor without explanation or elaboration. The opinion appeared to be staged. The independent auditor has not publicly expressed an opinion. He has not given any data. His reports are solely a couple of words that do not characterize exactly what is going on. The township manager has publicly opposed the municipal building at Darby and Manoa Road. This guy deserves a lot of credit. He has saved this township a great deal of money in scheduling and other things in addition to his routine job. I am stunned at the fact that you'd lay this on him at this point. The total effects were citizens talk, commissioners listen, and then make a decision and do what they want to build without any further meaningful input. Not much is done in other business for years. I call this democracy light. There's no referendum. The resulting effects of development would create a standstill of library, municipal, police station, and commissioners' functions. A reflective and suspicious mind might expect that the commissioners were following a script, and I believe that they are, knowing Havertown. I've also presented the explanation of this on the yellow page in back of this. And further, I wrote after I heard Mr. Heller talk the first time and asked for the 25 leading projects that this township had to do. And the answer I got is on the white page by the township manager. We don't have to do it, there is none. These guys are working off the top of their heads. $18 to $30 million for this, while a man out here lives with his wife in a home that's flooded and he can produce pictures. Then there's no further report. On the back page, under pressure, Gary Bogosian produced a sketch of one possibility, which is to put the meeting room on top of the police station. I don't believe that this is the correct solution. I believe that people will be walking there off the street and says, when can we rent the meeting room? I think this is a difficult situation to handle, but the library should remain where it is. The municipal building should be renovated, and so should this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Levin. Carl Machiavelli?
Close enough.
Okay. I'm not even sure it's spelled right.
I'm Carl Machiavelli. I live at 206 Sagamore Road. Amongst all the issues here that are being discussed, I just wanted to bring up one point regarding advancements in telecommunications technology. It was said in the 1900s there was a revolution in telecommunications technology, but I'd like to point out that the events in this arena since the late 90s, let alone the first 2 decades of the 21st century, have relatively dwarfed those advancements in telecommunication technology, and the continued advancements are going to be unprecedented, and they're going to continue to accelerate. And these advancements are going to make the assimilation and the transfer and the communication of information even less expensive as we go forward. A library, way back when, used to be a place where people could or had to come physically to be able to acquire knowledge, reading materials, and study. And they had to do it under a brick and mortar building with books and paper. All this information now is electronic and is going to continue to be made electronic so that it can be processed and accessed from a server via the World Wide Web and even from many of the handheld components and devices that we carry today. With that in mind, I just wanted to pose the question, what added value would be more brick and mortar, relocation of a library, more books, more paper? What would that do to the tax base, let alone what it's going to do to the increase in cost to provide such? Just wanted to consider and put out the point that maybe the renovation or transformation of a library should be more commensurate with the advancement in telecommunications technology that we have in front of us that's going to continue to accelerate and become less and less expensive and more decentralized and more remotely accessed. Thank you.
All right. Now we'll move on to our to the agenda items. This is on agenda items only. We'll start over here. Terry Lynn, would you like to come up?
I actually just want to take a step back. We only had the 3 minutes to talk about it, so I rushed through everything. I did make quite a few points for the sustainability of the buildings. I really do believe that only option 3 should be voted on this evening for many reasons, especially because of the traffic concerns on the corner of Darby and Manoa Road. But I really want to touch on the fact we pushed out our local ambulance services from the Manoa and the Lanark fire companies. I want to know why this took place behind closed doors. I don't understand why people get to vote on the safety of my family. I question the $440,000 being saved. You can't break that down individual households. That has to be broken down by resident because at some point in time, every resident in the township might need an emergency vehicle. When you divide that, you save 8 cents a resident. That is not a lot of money. When over the summer months, they spent $10 million in ordinances, like I said. University of Penn, unless it is changed in the contract, will balance bill you. It's going to be more than 8 cents. I think as a community, we've had a concrete foundation of wonderful ambulance services and EMTs. On June 9th's meeting, they received an award from the Heart Association, which is the inaugural 2014 American Lifeline Award. Only 2 EMS staff actually in Pennsylvania received this award. Our head of paramedics stood here and said Haverford Township has a long tradition of being forerunners when it comes to cardiac care and emergency services. They try to always be on the cutting edge of EMS. Dr. Fritz Gallagher was quoted, "In all circumstances, do what's best for the patient. You'll be glad, you'll get some grief, but always do what's best. Always be progressive in patient care." Mr. McCanns, who is the head paramedic, continued to say that we continue to do that, and you have my assurance and the insurance of these rescuers and all rescuers at Haverford Township and Manoa and Lanark Fire Companies. That was on June 9th, and on June 25th, you, the residents of the township, for the first time read in the news of Delaware County they decided to get rid of your local ambulance services. Why did we have to read it in the news of Delaware County? Why has it not been talked by the commissioners if it is such a great deal? Why are we moving one of our ambulances up to Haverford College, which is the furthest northern point of the border of your township? You can't take it any further. If I was Tom King stated in Thursday's August 21st article, as a safety director of a college, I would be elated that I would have that in my backyard also. But I think the township residents need to have their ambulance services in their backyard, and it should be centrally located, not at the furthest northern part. Many questions have to be answered. Like I said, why the University of Penn over Narberth, and why over Crozer Keystone? Why do all of our guys have to be reapplied, except 2 administrative staffs that will remain on, and unless more than 1 paramedic is called to a scene, that is when they will go? Where is a full-time position in that calling? I don't know where these comes from. I'd like to know the answers. That's all I have to say. And I'm under 3 minutes. That's it.
Anyone else in this row, this first row? The second row? Third row? Sir, come on up. Want to remind everybody, 3 minutes.
My name's John Serbin, 403 Merlin Avenue, Havertown, Pennsylvania. Around 40 years in this township. Everybody in here, when I'm sitting under that tree in the morning drinking my coffee and reading the paper, I see people coming down with their kids in their strollers, people walking their dogs, kids riding bikes like the great old town back in the 50s. No worries about crime. Don't have to worry about every neighbor's looking out for each other. What I'm looking for is a high-tech police station and nothing else right now. Because if you think crime ain't coming this way, you're blind. People out there, people on the board, wise up and get something done in this township. I'm embarrassed. I don't come down here this very often. I don't even like coming here. Because if nobody comes here, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job if nobody comes here. See what we got out here? I've seen this stuff before. You got them outside. Let's do one thing. What we were supposed to do 20 years ago when we asked for a police station. Give these guys the high tech, and I mean high tech going in the next 50 years. I won't be around. A lot of you won't, but our kids will be here. Well, I'm asking high tech, and I mean high tech to keep crime out of here before it gets here. I was a little upset a couple of weeks ago. That gentleman, I don't know these guys. I don't know none of these guys. I came from Manayunk, and I ain't taking it. I don't think these people should take it. I had a commissioner, I don't know who it was, asked this chief over here, what right, almost, I sensed it, what right do you have to cross to Upper Darby to help the chief over there who needed help with the dogs? I picked it up, maybe I picked up in the wrong way. All right, now why can't this chief and every other township that has police in it get together and keep the crime out of here? We don't need it. I don't want to get started about talking about crime. We don't need it. This is a family-oriented, blue-collar neighborhood. We don't want it to be the main line. We don't want to act like the main line. We want to come home on a Friday, cash our check, go to the supermarket, okay, and enjoy our family on the weekend. That's all we're asking. Tonight, vote on a police station, a high-tech, no 4 walls, with a roof on it. That was an old horse barn down there years ago. That police, it's embarrassing. Rodent infested. And I mean rodent infested. I don't even want to get into talk about rodents, but that place is infested. Every time I make that illegal right-hand turn on Manoa Road, people, it's not funny, I'm going to tell you what. You get hit on that road making that illegal turn, you're responsible. Let me tell everybody here. There's no ifs or buts or what they did. Okay, you're responsible. Be careful. All right? Let's vote on a high-tech police station. And I'm going to tell you why. I got a few minutes yet?
No, you're done. You're done. Yeah, you're 3 minutes.
Am I okay?
No, you're done.
Yeah.
You're finished.
You can,
Yeah, well,
well,
You can
wrap it up.
finish up.
You wrap it
Can you
up.
wrap it up? I got one more.
No. We can't have.
Good night, Crazy.
It's going to wrap it up. Just
All
wrap
right.
it up.
I'll wrap it up for now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anyone in that row? Come on up.
Just me.
And I'm Cheryl Forsty Groff. I live at 107 Landau Road, and I'm here to talk about what Haverford Township is and what I hope it will continue to be, which is, as you said, a wonderful neighborhood where everyone feels like they can walk places and be safe and have the things they need to make a happy and successful life for themselves and their children. And we're really at a place right now, and I hope that you all are thinking about this very carefully as you think about the future of the township. What are the best steps to make our township a magnet place for everyone else? We're not the main line, but we ought to have main line resources. We ought to have main line facilities. And we are beating the main line in terms of the why. We're beating the main line in terms of the Haverford Recreation. I'd like to beat them with the police station. I'd like to beat them with the library. And the library is bricks and mortar. If you go there, it's always full. It is the most popular library in Delaware County. It is the place where people go to research jobs, where businesses go for networking, where there are lots of community groups who are coming to meet each other and develop bonds with people that they wouldn't ordinarily meet. We need a beautiful library where people feel safe to go, where they can go. Right now it's not accessible to people with physical disabilities. The elevator doesn't really accommodate strollers or wheelchairs. We need to renovate our library. I'd love for us to have a new one, but at the very least we need to give it a major renovation so it is available and able to support all of our town and everybody in it, no matter what their age. If you go to the library, you've got babies in there, you have mothers, you have senior citizens. The library is central. It is something very special to Haverford Township, and I beg you to please do what you can to support that library. Whether it's in its current location or in another location, something has to be done so we can continue to have this jewel that enhances and enriches our lives. Thank you.
Anyone else in that row? The back row? Sir, come on up.
Hi, Steve Herrick, 129 Cathmere. I've been here before. I'm going to try not to reiterate on facts that I've already expressed as common sense knowledge, which I think everybody in this room agrees with. My biggest question, and I guess a lot of people's, is how are we all going to benefit by a new location? Secondly, I'm not sure how the kids who roll over from the school are going to actually make the time and commit their energy to go a little farther in order to further their studies. Jim McGarity has expressed exclusively that this is really going to break up the flow of traffic, and I think we already have a flow of traffic problem here in Havertown as well as the rest of the world at this point. So a couple other items that I'm trying to get clear and concise, but like I said, I don't have a script here, but there's going to be a lot of downtime, and there's going to be a lot of detours, I guess is a better word, for this township. And that nightmare of an intersection, right now you don't have to stand out there for 5 minutes in front of the Wawa to witness and understand what I'm talking about, everybody's talking about, and I think most people here on the Commissioner's Board will talk back. So let's make the right decision. I've been to all the other libraries in the Lower Marion Township.
This library, compared to what's going on there, we're way above. Okay, it has some issues. We need to address those. We need to fix those. It can be fixed. A couple light bulbs or more, that's just a simple way of putting it. But yes, we can do it. Everything is fixable. But to take an historic building, and then another Jim McGarry point is, what are we going to do with that? That was set up. Were our forefathers a bunch of guys off their rockers? No, this is the way it was supposed to be. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep the tradition. This is doable. I think everybody in here would agree with me. Let's save what we have. This is not reversible. We go ahead with this plan, or what some people want for the other plan to go forth, you can't take it back. And I hope everybody hears what I had to say in a hurried and nervous kind of way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in that row? In this first row? Good, go on. I remind everybody, 3 minutes on agenda items only.
Hello, my name is Brad Toll. I live at 126 Strathmore Road in Havertown. And I've heard many people talk this evening, and it's been very interesting to hear the comments on how the library goes about. I've given it a lot of thought, and I had some other suggestions on it. But before I even go there, I want to say I heard that you guys voted against having the big Walgreens up the corner. And I think that, and the part of the township voted yes, and you guys opposed it. I think it's a good idea that you guys oppose it. So I guess in some respects you can come together and make a good vote. That's so obviously.
That's every now and again.
Yeah, every now
thanks,
and again.
Brad. Blind squirrels find acorns.
Well, you to compliment you on that over the